Hello and welcome to the Irish Hunting Podcast, the no bullshit podcast for the outdoor enthusiasts. If you're into hunting, fishing, fine wines and even finer foods, you've come to the right place. So pull up a chair. Hello and welcome back to the Irish Hunting Podcast. On this episode number 46, we're talking all things wildfowling. We're about 8 days away from the 1st of September, which of course for a lot of people mean the first of the duck season. So we're talking all things wildfowling, duck shooting, highs, lows, experiences, funny stories and all in between. We'll also bring you a roundup of news and events from around the country. And this week's Let's Talk Gear, it's the turn of Dog Down Custom Calls. Hope you all enjoy. Anthony Grogan, how are you getting on, lad?
How's you getting on, Buchel? Are you well?
Not too bad now, and yourself?
Good.
As Christy Moore would say, how's she going? How's the crack?
Not too bad yourself.
Not too bad.
How's it going there, everybody? I think there a couple of messages coming through from across the pond. We got a few reviews, nice reviews, didn't we?
We did, lad. Some lad from Wales.
I think I think it's pointed directly at me because I talk very fast and then my accent is middle of peat country in County Kildare, so
yeah.
You should probably just wind that back a little bit. So apologies.
Are you saying that I have a more refined accent because you were 100% old?
You were the connoisseur of this outfit, my friend.
Jeez, it won't last.
that is the first and only time that label will be directed on your door.
That is for certain, Lord. Yeah. Come here. How are you getting on? What's been going on?
Gosh, look, we're flat out, Brenny. Flat out. Same as yourself. Good week though. Lovely week weather, wasn't it?
Savage weekend weather, man. Absolutely fantastic. Some change from what we've had as of late, like.
Absolutely, man. I think it's shaping up lovely because them kind of mornings now with the that kind of auburny sky in the morning and the kind of little bit of misty dew coming up off is perfect for both what we're going to be talking about this evening and obviously definitely what we're going to be talking about for the next probably couple of weeks in coming into deer season. So
absolutely.
Yeah, just cannot beat them kind of mornings. I think there's a little bit of a nip in the air in the evening time, but look, we'll take that all day long, man.
Without a shadow of a doubt, man. I absolutely love it. So I do. I'm literally sitting here just before we jumped on. I was writing one of my pieces for Rural Pursuits magazine, and I was just literally referencing like the slightest of changes in temperature and whatever it is about it. It just when you get a change in temperature, it's just like instantaneously you think of hunting. I do anyway. I instantaneously think of hunting.
Absolutely. I think I was running from the car. It's a little bit misty and kind of and there's a little bit of light rain, but that rain that kind of soaks you in about like 20 seconds, that type of dirty old kind of rain. But I was running for the car in and out with stuff coming in and out and got absolutely fucking not soaked, but like all the clothes had to go off. But I was thinking there's a little bit of a chill in the air. You can kind of smell that kind of there's frost around the corner, and you know that in a couple of weeks' time the turf fire will be burning, and we'll be back into talking about when we're out fox shooting at stupid o'clock in the morning, the smoke fires in the chimneys, and the Christmas lights in the windows, and you know what I mean. It's just it's fucking brilliant.
Definitely. Definitely. Cannot beat it, man. And of course, brought in and topped up with a bit of whiskey just to get the old blood circulating again. I actually got asked by a fella today. It's like, what's the story? How come you aren't drinking anymore?
I don't have time to be drinking, man.
I said, we do. We're just not when we're on the podcast. Yeah, well, don't worry. We'll be bringing back the whiskey. It'll be just more of we're kind of both more like we like our whiskey in the colder weather, don't we? Now we drink it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's all the nature in the colder weather.
Yeah, exactly. We did a couple of beers, probably the last couple of weeks. Obviously, we've been fairly hectic. So, and this bloody thing, as we said before, is kind of it's running. It's like a horse, and we're in the cart behind it, trying to catch up to the horse. Do
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's scooting on, which is a great thing. We're not complaining, and
No.
and but it's yeah, it's brilliant, and we've loads of stuff that we're trying to prepare for the upcoming season. We had loads of plans. Remember, it was so laid back last Christmas. We'll do this and we'll do that. You know what I mean? And we fucking
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
it's here, and it's just literally it's skin of the pants time. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Without a shadow of a doubt, man. What's been going on in the club? Have you been out, or how's you got birds? You have birds. You have them a
We
couple of
do.
weeks now.
We've close on 100 birds now in the pens, between ones we reared and ones that we brought in,
Mm-hmm.
and they are flying, man. And a big shout out to Ed McAvoy down in beside Shane there, um, like great birds, loads of different breeds, man. You want to see these, so they are absolutely flying. We've given them a small little bit of warm dose in their water just to make sure. We have our second pen almost ready. We've been doing huge amount of work with Fairman, which we're going to talk about now in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And foxes and mink are just like, they're absolutely. I have never seen it so much in abundance. Like, the lads in the club have been out on day shoots and drives and stuff, and some of us have been out at night time and so on, and there's no sign. Like, as a matter of fact, I think it's as plentiful of a year as I've ever seen, so
Mm-hmm.
or heard, and that goes from the top of the club down to the newer end of it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, just the amount. So, but that's the most important part. We have to get the foxes under control, and the mink especially, and then we're going to transfer probably close on 2/3 to our bigger pen now. It's all lovely and grassy and fucking loads of little covers and so on. So deadly. We've 2 runs now, which is absolutely, it's fantastic work for a small club like ours, and we're really blessed to have the guys behind us. So well done to everyone involved.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah.
Yourself.
Happy days. Getting our birds this weekend, this Saturday. I think we're going over to pick them all up over in Paul O'Shea's over in he's over, where did I say, he's Mount Mellick direction. So Paul O'Shea game. Oh geez, I don't even know what his company's called, but Paul O'Shea is him, and yeah. So we're going over there. I think we've a little over 200 to pick up poles, I think. So yeah, picking them up Saturday, back, get them into the pens. Pens are already cleaned and set up, and all that end of it is done. So just get them out, feed them, put in feeders, drinkers, the whole job lot. And then what else have we got to do? Yeah, that's kind of basically it. That'll be fucking all day Saturday, I'd say, now, more or less. Went to the credit union, get out a few bob and pay him. Went to get a fencer for the remote, the battery fencers for around one of the pens, and
Very good.
yeah, sure, the pressure will be on then. Try and get a roster done, trying to get one lad every evening to get out and check the pens. And look, that's all you can do. It's hard going, but like, you kind of have to be a bit more laid back with it too. Like, lads have to, enjoy their hunting, and it was kind of fairly stringent last year. This year we're kind of going to, not more laid back, but like, if a lad, ideally every lad has his day to go out and check the pheasants. If you can go out and check, if you can't get out and no one else can do them, just get out the following morning. It's not.
Yeah,
if it's a couple of hours later, it's not fucking the end of the world.
It's not huge. Yeah, I think that's you want, if you start taking the enjoyment out of it and leaving it as like some sort of a military operation.
Yeah, exactly. Lads don't have time for that, so we'll have a bit of crack this year. That's my goal as the chairman this year, is going to have a bit more crack and enjoy it, and plenty of good shooting and plenty of crack. And what more do you want?
Just on that, Brenny, do you use lime the pens after the season's over, or throw a bit of lime in them, or do you?
No, we definitely not. No, we'd kind of encourage kind of the growth and stuff. No, we wouldn't. We'd usually, when they're out, we'd scout it a bit, we'd set everything all up, and then we'd throw a bit of game crop seed and a few different seeds and let it sprout up through the ground.
Yeah. Just an interesting thing. I was actually talking, because like that, I was just planning ahead for when we release, because we want to get a bit of game crop. Obviously, the very minute the birds are kind of released, want to have it kind of planned that we have game crop in the box or in the feed anyway.
Yeah.
Or in the store, and we want to just give a little bit of tilling to the pens, just a light little kind of grubbing, and because they're all kind of trampled, when they kind of everything's kind of trampled into the ground at that stage, and and I was just chatting to some of the boys, and they were saying, yeah, lime is good for obviously the soil as well, but it also kills any kind of bacterial diseases. So a little bit of lime, shoot around your pen, kills any diseases that be in the ground that might. Because we're keeping a few hens again this year for breeding purposes, so they seemingly worms can pass on and through the egg into the chick and so on. So as far as I'm aware, so the bit of lime kills all that kind of jazz and leaves the pens fresh and will realkalinate the soil, if that makes sense.
Okay, so, 100%, yeah, but yes, it's a good one. Yeah, we've never. And then I suppose we've probably been lucky. I suppose because I suppose a lot of people do things. They're reactive as opposed to if something goes wrong, then they'll do. But we have been fucking lucky. Past couple of years, we've just had fucking phenomenal, and we just kind of want to just kind of keep going the way we're going and hope everything works out.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's small. As I say, I was only actually chatting to Noel, one of the lads in the club there yesterday actually, yeah. I was dropping up a couple of foxtails and a few wings and stuff like that, and he was saying just in terms of we collect the feed now for the feeders, and we have feed for the pens and stuff like that, and we have a big kind of it's like it's actually a fucking old kerosene tank. It's all washed out and so on. So it's years old. It was all well watered out. But we're going to use it as a storage container for our feed and stuff. Fill it into smaller bags then for transportation for the quads and so on. But and we were just planning that out. Like what's the this year what our lessons learned from last year basically and so on. And that was one thing that I had suggested. Obviously a little bit of crop seed into the fucking pens. And then he said, what about a bit of lime? And I said, yeah, I'll just touch base. I'll chat with Shane, who's the pheasant. What do we call him? The pheasant what?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Untethered and Wanderwise, where adventure has no age limit. We're your co-host, Heidi Brandis and Nikki Mahundro, and we're here to inspire and celebrate women over 45 who are embracing their independence and want to explore the world on their own terms.
Guru is a name we use a lot, isn't it?
No, he'd be laughing at that one now. He's over in holidays, son Nazar somewhere in fucking Spain.
Oh, but yes, well for him.
So I hope the two cheeks are
scarlet
at this stage. But he's he said a little bit of lime. And that just kills any kind of, especially if you're kind of, year after year after year, and you're extracting the most out of the ground as well. So it's good for the ground anyway, So there you go.
Your pens. I don't know if I actually ever asked this. What way are your pens? Is it much of a job to get to your pens? Like say if there's lads going out checking them in the evenings, is it hard? Are they hard to get to, or can you drive to them?
No, it's one of them is actually in my uncle has a kind of a nursery set up where he's a landscaper and he owns a bit of a wood and it's set back into the wood, so it's not a huge deal to get down. Either he checks it in the evening time, or Noel tips up, or Kieran. In fairness to the three lads, they live kind of very very close to the pen, so they just get up and check it. Noel is actually he's the elder statesman in the club, but he's the driving force behind the pheasant project, in fairness to him. So, and then the other one, the new one, is a little bit of a drive, but again, it's right beside one of the lads' hay barn. So,
grand.
He's small little hay barn and cattle shed, and it's just over to the left hand side of that. So, again, not overly. It's probably 10-minute drive for a couple of lads, and so it's not a. In fairness, Alan be nipping up there almost every evening to check on the cattle anyway. So it kind of that's why we chose that particular spot to try and leave as little. what would you say, to chance as possible, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
It makes an awful difference. If we could do it again, well, I wasn't there when they built really that pen, but if we could do it again, I wouldn't have put them where they are, to be honest with you. They're too far, like they're way in off the road, and it's like it's a nightmare. It is hard going during the winter because like the dark winter evens, man, you have to traipse down through 5 fields to get to them. Do you know what I mean? Like it was a bad job, really, you know, when you think about it now. Like it seemed like a great idea probably at the time, but now, you know, looking back on an access, I know at the time we weren't probably getting poles and stuff, but like, yeah, looking back now, I think maybe might going to try maybe next year. Well, I have 2 ideas. I want to try and either move one of the pens, or we're going to have I want to be able to, probably going to get like an old 4-wheel drive Jeep and leave it at one of the pens. And the whole idea of it is then that I'll have to adapt some of the paths and stuff. But the whole idea is in the winter evens, the dark evens, you can drive down to the first pen, feed it into the Jeep, drive around to the second one, feed it up the whole job lot, and then back. And then the last pen you can drive into a yard, like, you know.
Yeah. And come here to me. Do you have an IBC tank running beside the pens? You know, a water tank?
Yeah. We have.
You have them.
Yeah, the big one we have. We have a tap actually. We ran water piping up to it and all. Yeah, and then the other one we have a big IBC tank down at, and then we've big containers for all the feed and that. So it's only, you know, you're not carrying down bags or stuff, but it's just one of those things, you know. You have to, like, it's only for a couple of weeks, but still, it's hard. It's hard on lads, you know, to try and get out there and get it done. But look, it's a small fucking complaint. The fella says it's great to get out there and do a bit of shooting, that, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. Small price to pay, and hopefully, look at the efforts that we put in now will be worth it for generations to come, as the fella says, you know.
Exactly right, man. Without a shadow of a doubt. Come here. We're gonna be talking all things waterfowl. I suppose duck shooting is coming around the cut. Now we've been talking a lot about the deer shooting because I think it's no surprise for people that would be our preferred form of hunting, but nonetheless we love a bit of duck shooting, and they both start on the same day, and there'll be an awful lot of listeners in this that will be absolutely hanging out for the 1st September for the ducks as opposed to the deer. So we're going to talk a lot more about that now shortly, but I think we'll kick it off with a bit of news, will we?
Yeah, we'll kick it off. Yeah, there's a few bits going on. So let's. Do you want to kick it off there, Bernie?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. So this is another one. It's on Sunday, the 27th of August. So we're giving you plenty of notice now.
Not like last week.
Not like last week. The week before we're talking about stuff that's over. But anyway, it's the annual Loch Talt clay pigeon shoot. As I said, Sunday, 27th of August, 2023. Starts at 11 a.m. The air code is F91EH50. All welcome. Monies raised from the shoot will go towards a donation to the Kevin Bell Repatriation Trust. So that's a good little thing, nice little thing to be going out to there.
Bit of sport there as well for all involved. Mm-hmm. The next thing, I suppose, we'll just give we found it hard just to get a kind of abbreviated version of this, but because we don't want it, we could really spend a podcast talking. I think we've talked the last couple of weeks about how well both clay hunters and long distance and so on have been doing in competition, and this is just another example of that. So it's the Ireland Youths win 3rd gold in a row at the Four Nations Youth International in 2023 in Wales. So basically, the youths are now bringing home, or not now, they've been bringing it home for the last numerous years, it was held on the 2nd of August in Lynn Clewdog in my
I have not a clue how to pronounce that.
Now, for one of the lads there texts in about my accent, and he's a Welsh listener, I know, but he might be able to throw a little bit of pronunciation, a little bit, exactly, on that. We are all Celtic in genetic, but unfortunately my linguistics don't stretch that far. So yeah, Ireland were going for their 3rd win in a row under the management of Noel Farrar and Eileen Farrar. The team met for practice, and they brought home the gold. So
impressive win. 175 fish, man. First place, £360 and 12 ounces. Nice bit of fish there, lad. You know. So
here's I suppose another follow-on to what we've been talking about in the long distance to clays, and now here we are punching well above our weight in terms of deficient. So I think it's in country sports is flying in the country, you know.
It is absolutely, man, and great to see it. Fantastic. Well done to all. Great to see that. That'll take a bit of doing, organising a team like that to head out there and do that. So
Absolutely.
yeah, Noel, Eileen, fair play to you. That's super stuff.
Yeah,
super
absolutely.
stuff. Next thing on is the Dunmanway District Gun Club. Now, I know I can picture where Dunmanway is, but I just can't remember off the top of my head. It'll be holding an open fundraiser clay shoot on the 27th of August in Dunmanway Clay Target Club grounds. It'll be a great day out to get the eye in for the season ahead. Everyone welcome. So 27th of August, 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. The venue, as we said, is Dunmanway Clay Shooting Ground. And what's on it? It's going to be a 50-bird sporting and novelty stand. All are welcome, from beginners to experienced shooters. Top gun of the day, €100.
Yeah, and that's a brilliant thing. I think brilliant. I was just looking at that one there as you were reading it out, and say for lads or girls who have the shotgun is in the cabinet there for the last couple of years, and maybe the rough shooting is a bit of a stretch, you know, for just to get back out and about. That's a lovely social event. 11 o'clock till 3 o'clock on a Sunday, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Sunday. Yeah.
So like that's I felt like a couple of hours out. It's a great social event. There's a novelty stand there as well. It's all are welcome from beginners. These are not competitions that are exclusive to the elite clay shooters and so on. Get out there, have a bit of sport. Without a doubt you'll get meeting or chatting to somebody that'll either give you a little bit of advice, or you might kind of create an old friendship there going forward. Who knows? But that's a very nice event to get the lips wet, as to say.
Exactly right, man. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I want to just mention this as well, because I know this man personally, but it's just a little bit of just a quick mention. It's not so much news, but it's just a little interesting snippet. This comes in from Lester Cassidy, and it's he just says, lads, I don't know what is going on the River Moy this year, but there's very little salmon running the system. I've been fishing it for almost 40 years, and I've never seen it so quiet. I catch 50 plus per year, all catch and release. This year, I'd say I have 10. In my opinion, the river is in serious trouble. So I just wanted to mention that, just it'll feed into some of our other podcasts. I know we'll have George back on in terms of the fishing, our fishing guru. But that's I know Lester well. I know he's been fishing. He's a fishing fanatic, and a very, very, very experienced angler, as his father was before him. And he has a place down there, I think in Mayo, and he fishes it every year religiously. And so we need to be listening to these people. You know, this is the people who are catching a fish at the end of the line. You know, and this I go back to where you know, I put a picture of, you know, catching a trout, and that's not what's doing the damage here. You know, the 3 or 4 or 5 salmon, you know, or trout, or this is a bigger, wider issue. There's pollution in these rivers. There's things that are stopping these fish getting back up spawn in their droves. It's not the ones and twos. Absolutely, if something comes under pressure, you have to stop catching it. I understand that, but we need to be looking at the wider picture. That's just a small bit on that. Anyway, we won't get into that.
No, 100%. Yeah. No, 100%. But it's interesting to see stuff like that. So if he's obviously knows what he's talking about, and if the numbers are gone down drastically, geez, there's something fucking definitely not right, you know?
Yeah.
Something not right. Last thing, now we'll be talking more about this. Obviously, it'll feed in nicely into our waterfowling segment, and that is the National Parks and Wildlife have issued a map. What areas of the country are designated lead shot free? So it's on there. We'll actually put a link to this on our page. So yeah, they have released that. Jesus Christ, they're a bit behind the ball in releasing it, in fairness. But anyway, it is out there. Everyone should familiarise themselves with it, whether we agree with it or not. It is what it is, so you're as well to know the areas as even if you don't agree with it. So yeah, we will be talking a little bit more about that now shortly. But yeah, that's the whole all of it. That's the news for this week. Over and out.
What's the news? Diddle-oo.
Shin, come here. Duck shooting.
All things duck shooting, Bernie.
All
Yeah.
things duck shooting, man. Isn't it weird? Like, and I'm shooting all my life. I think I've been that much looking forward to the deer shooting and getting the new rifle, and of course with the podcast and getting everything set up and stuff. I kind of half forgot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That we were, you know, it just kind of dawned on me this morning. I woke up this morning and forever. I was like, Jesus Christ, yeah, that's coming up too. Like,
I know this is not going to be fucking nice, right? But I would love it if the duck season opened in the second week in September. Now I know people who are here duck shooting are going to say, or vice versa, the deer season opened.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you can get out to a bit of duck shooting and kind of have a little bit of a breather, and then go again deer shooting. That'd be the ideal. Having the two of them on the end is.
Yeah, I'd agree with you in the first time. I think you'd be better off having the duck shooting later, because for a lot of lads, you know, the milder weather is not ideal weather for duck hunting. You know, especially now, like there's pockets of water everywhere. So, you know, they don't tend to be on some of the lakes and stuff. But whereas the deer season, if you leave it too much later, like some people are you know, will be reporting that the rut's coming earlier and stuff. So, yeah. But I do agree with you. They're all on the one time. Yeah.
Maybe just, I suppose, or earlier, one or the other. You know, it's just and I think. You know, I think the duck season probably could be just, you know, maybe stretched out a week on the other end of it, and maybe tail back a week on this end, because like that, you're waiting out. It's like fox shooting. You wait till the fucking thing is going dark. We go to fox shooting, you're there, and then you're out half the night.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, if it's a little bit earlier, or sorry, if it's pushed out a little bit, obviously the evenings are coming back and so on, so you can get into your hide or your and catch your flight coming in under a little bit of cover of darkness, rather than sitting there for 2 hours waiting for it. So, but anyway, look, that's a different argument for a different day. But duck shooting wouldn't be. I wouldn't have a whole pile of experience. I have a few funny stories of the small bits I have done of it. My trials and errors. I think I was talking to. We were talking off air actually before we started, and I was talking to Shane O'Neill actually just today or yesterday. I think it was today. And in terms of my my shooting experience, and it's been very ad lib. It's been very kind of learn as you go, and that's I come from probably a generation where you were kind of left to figure things out a little bit by yourself, which is actually a good thing, I believe. With the result that I had more, I've definitely missed more duck than I've shot, so I'm going to leave it at that. But I have some pretty funny stories. But it reminds me actually last year, which almost seems like yesterday, Brenny, we heading down to meet about Sam, and we froze the BJ's out of ourselves. It was -3 or something, I think, that morning.
Oh my God. Like, I was just thinking earlier on, and it was funny now that you bring that up. I was over in Killara hunting there during the week, Monday evenings. And there was a lad in from Ridgeline Clothing, and he's a sales rep who actually we are going to have him on the podcast, talk about some of the stuff. But he was you know, showing some of the new stuff that's coming out, like, and it's all, look, it's lovely, it's nice, it's all impressive. But he was showing a pair of these trousers, you know, but they're like the pintail trousers, but they're quite heavy, like. And I was just there looking at it, I was like, jeez, I guess I prefer the lighter one. You know, there's a lighter one that to do. And I was just thinking to myself, with the big heavy ones, it's like, realistically, when the fuck would you ever want them? You know, they're too heavy. Like, when, I said, I can't think of any situation where I'd want them. And then I thought back to the time we were on the boat, and I was like, oh yeah, actually, they'd be fucking ideal on that time. My God, man, was that cool?
If you want to refresh your memory, man, because I actually was flicking through our YouTube channel, right? And there's a video. You're waiting for me over in the house to arrive. I think it was 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe. Was it?
Can't say you're not far off. Yeah,
you were looking out the window and you were saying it's -3 out there now, and we're just waiting for Anthony to come over, and you know, we're having a hot mug of tea, you know. And I was kind of, and that really kind of I don't know, it got me energy up anyway, because I remember, you know, that morning, the excitement and all that kind of stuff. Now there's bits of it I want to forget, like, as in fucking halfway through it, I think Sam wanted to test whether or not we were going to die from frostbite at one stage. But it got colder. It, like, you remember that morning, we got out of the van, and it was -2 or -3. But I would absolutely believe that it got colder as the morning went on. Don't ask me how, but it was fucking freezing.
Baltic, man. I never forget the cold. I think that's the coldest I ever was in my entire life.
Yeah.
Like, oh my GS. Like, I remember at one stage, my hands were, the pain in my hands and my feet were outrageous with the cold. And I think it's worse. Do you know when you're like sitting on a boat and you're like the boat's in the water, which is almost frozen, and your feet are they're not moving for starters, but then they're just directly in contact with that. It's like having your feet on a block of ice. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. We were submerged probably, you're 2 foot down into water, so there's water within 4 inches of you, and it's freezing fucking cold. And then I looked around. I'll never ever forget this, right? And Sam was standing up at the back of the boat, and I had no gloves on, like a complete tourist, man. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? And I remember thinking, like, if a duck gets up here, I have to be able to feed my fucking fingers. So I remember sticking my fingers in my mouth and trying to kind of bite them. You know what I mean? Trying to get some sort of feeling back into them. And I turned around and I looked back at him, and he was after copying what I was doing, so he knew exactly where I was at, and he just had this old kind of
grin.
This fucking sadistic kind of a grin now. Like, yeah. And he said, we'll just check over here. And the fucking far side of the lake. And I was there, oh, mother. God, get me off this fucking thing.
Oh, man, it was cat. I remember parking up the boat. I remember running over, before we took anything out of it, running over to the van, firing it up, hitting the 2 buttons for the heated seats, hit the button for the heated steering wheel, and absolutely had the heat and crank, lad. I remember sitting into the van and just like, oh my God, it was savage. It was savage. It was class.
Yeah.
And then there was like freezing fog. I remember coming through the freezing fog.
Oh man.
Coming in on top of the flight of what was there?
Waterhens, was it?
Waterhens, yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was unbelievable.
How many of them was there, Bernie? Like, I wouldn't be exaggerating and say there was thousands, was there?
Oh man, there was definitely. Like, we were because the fog shielded us, like, so they didn't know where we were coming from, and we got in on them, and we were amongst them as they were running and getting up off the water. It was something else. And I remember the moon. It was the clearest sky ever. Everything about it, man. I love this time of year. I love it.
Yeah, no, it was, and I think it reiterates why we do what we do. Like, it's them, like, people saying to you, like, how do you enjoy that? But like, when you get back out of that situation, like, obviously, look at every situation like that I've ever been, my fondest memories have when you go through a small bit of a struggle and you get a result, or you get some sort of a win at the back of it, and that is one of them. Like, we came back. I think we got a big breakfast roll and the mug of tea on the way home.
Yeah.
And I think we stopped, and I actually passed that petrol station only the other day, believe it or not, coming back from Kells.
That's right. Yeah.
And,
the one there,
do you know what I mean? And straight away you're sparked. I remember myself pulled in there, got the old roll that morning. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's all them things, and that's what makes this whole thing fucking unique, compared to any other sport, I think, where there's loads and loads. Well, probably not any others. Like, yes, you get to go through struggle in all kinds of sports, I suppose, with training and so on. But particularly in our sport, it's real physical. It's a mind game at times. It's physical at times. But the rewards so much outweigh the negatives. Like, it's just it's unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely, man. Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah.
Any funny stories? Tell me your earliest memory of duck hunting.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I can tell you, I do remember not a funny story, I do remember my first ever duck. Remember it as clear as day. I was walking down, I wasn't in any gun club at the stage. I was 16, I think, licensed on my dad's vehicle. I was walking down, had done no duck shooting, hadn't gone out on any boats, had done none of this, had purely just been fox shooting, and even at that, and it was harmless enough. It was with a shotgun, and pheasant shooting and crows and pigeons and stuff like that. So it was all shotgun oriented. And I remember heading down a neighbour of ours' land here, not probably, just up the road from where I'm actually living here now, and walking along. It was kind of, I'd say it probably was the 1st of November, because I used to take it off school if I was in school, if we weren't off for Halloween, and then work. So I'd say I would have been in school, and remember walking down along this big, fairly wide ditch, and it wasn't long after been cleaned by the Board of Works, and they had deepened it and stuff and the whole job lot. So there was a nice little bit of water in it. Walking along, wasn't even looking for any duck at all. The field in particular, we call it the three corner field because it's just like a triangular shaped field. And walking down along it, mirroring this ditch and looking for pheasants. And next thing, up got these two mallards, two greenheads, and up they broke, lad, and headed off. And I just didn't hesitate, up with the gun, bang, and dropped out in the far field. And such a job to get across to him, to get him. I hadn't any springer, had no dog, nothing at the time. But yeah, I remember that as clear as day. I remember getting over it, and I could not wait to get home. Do you know when you're even walking? You know when you're so stupid when you're younger, but like when you're walking down the road, like, and you have the gun broke over your shoulder, and you've a clutch of ducks, or if you have a pheasant or whatever in your hand, walking along, and you know the car's driving by. You think, you know what I mean? You think you are the bomb.
Business.
Yeah.
And
you know, half
bringing
people
home the bacon.
Yeah, exactly. Half people driving by going, "Fucking hell, look at that mad!" But you do. You just feel it's just one of those things that's ingrained in us. But I do remember that. That was my
brilliant.
First ever duck. Yeah. What about you? What? Give me a few memories there.
Oh, well, as I can remember my first duck, as probably most people can, but like that, I had a dog, Riggsy. He's passed now, but he wasn't the best dog in the world, but he was as brave as a lion, and you know, he'd go all day, or the best part of it anyway. But he was great at retrieving, and I remember there's this little pond. I still shoot it. Actually, I shot a duck off it last year on our challenge, actually, on the IHP challenge. It's always good for holding a couple of duck, and rarely lets you down. You know, one of them doesn't hold many, you know, but always holds a nice clutch. You know, I like going down, just, you know, getting one out of it, not overshooting it, obviously, but so yeah, we're down, and I was with the man who actually introduced me to this little pond. It's in the corner of a fucking field, a swampy kind of an outfield, and there's a little bit of a mound as you approach it, and trees kind of come into the so it's essentially in a little corner, you know, and a stream feeding it from the back. And like that, a mallard broke, and just as he's about to hit the tree line, I clipped him, and he went down and into just the kind of the outside of the pond. And I didn't have the dog with me at the time because I didn't. He's the lad who was shooting was, no, you won't need it. This is not a big pond. But the duck went down, of course, and landed, and I clipped him, but he was he started to fucking dunk under, you know what I'm saying? So he'd go, I couldn't get near him, you know. And it was a heap of kind of briars and bushes up, going back towards the stream, and in he went underneath that, and I could not a hope of getting him out. So I went home, loaded Riggsy up, brought him back up, brought him over into the corner. And he used to go up, he used this little circular thing where he'd go around a kind of a circle for a minute, and then off he'd go. And the next thing, nose went up. It looked over to where the duck had kind of gone in, and in he went. And within 10 minutes, brought me out duck, you know.
Brilliant.
And yeah, that was my first duck, most memorable for a couple of reasons. And but yeah, I have a few funny stories, man. Have you any funnies? Any kind of
not that I can think of offhand. Shout there, I might think of one.
Jesus, man, here we go. Like I have a few, so bear with me. But so on the first, we used to make it. A good friend of mine, Daffy, who used to bring me shooting or introduce me kind of to rough shooting, and he was one of them. Do you know one of these characters in the pubs? They're kind of nearly gone now, but there'd be the characters, you know, and like there'd be a vein of truth through the stories, right? But like it would be kind of, you know, it'd be like a Christmas tree. It'd be kind of to be bells and whistles hanging on. Do you know what I mean? So, so we used to travel all over. We went to Cavan one year. A mate of mine has land up here. He said, "Oh, great lake," and "Oh, geez, we'll get loads of duck," and so on and so forth. And so I said, "Grand." So we landed up in this spot. It was a little bridge, and there was a little rowing club beside it, actually. A canoe, you know, like they were canoeing and that kind of stuff, right in a bridge. And my dad had a camper van, so we kind of all perched in. And my young lad was there as well, Dylan at the time. Perched into the camper van, and we had brown bread and ham and cheese sandwiches that evening and a cup of tea. And myself and Daffy went out and put out a few decoys that we had and settled in for the night. And sure, he was like a child, man. He was nearly 60 at this time, and he wakes at fucking 3:00 in the morning, get everyone up, oh, geez, no, we have to get down here early, down to this field. And I remember the evening before, I was going down to this kind of, it was a lane, and then we had to go through kind of at the end of a farmyard and stuff. And I was saying, this man do much farming. He does a bit, So I thought nothing of it, until 3:00 in the morning, 3:30, we're up and we had a quick cup of tea and down we went anyway. And anyone who's down in Cavan at that time of the year, especially in the first, knows it's similar to Beirut, like when it kicks off.
Yeah.
But we were going through this fucking farmyard and hoped the exact same route that we travelled. And the next thing, anyway, he says that this dog comes out and starts fucking and trying to annihilate us out. And he said, "Run, run!" And I said, I thought he meant from the dog, like. So it's Jesus Christ Almighty. You think your buddy would have fucking kept the dog in, knowing that we were down here tonight? Well, he doesn't know that we're here. And I said, "What the fuck do you mean he doesn't know?" Well, I don't know whether he lives there anymore. He says he used to live here a couple of years ago. So here we are traveling through a field that you know what I mean? I don't know whether we have fucking permission or not to be going through. This is a long time ago, but this is a true story. So anyway, we made sure all gates were closed, but hopped the fucking fence anyway, and down onto the bank of the lake where I knew that we had shooting, and but it was marshy, boggy ground. And I said, well, my father said as well, we're not going back to that man's farmyard. So we had to we shot no duck because there was a lads in a camoed boat that had kind of drifted from up the way down into, I'd say, no more than 25 fucking feet away from where we were. And as soon as one duck came in, it was like they had pump action shotguns, and it was like fucking Beirut there. And so we didn't get a fucking bang at a fucking duck. So we got two wet feet and no duck, and ran out of a fucking farmyard. By an angry dog. So there you go.
That's kind of pooching, a little bit of pooching. Lad. We've all done a bit of pooching,
but not intentional pooching. Let me just clarify that.
Unintentional.
We had permission. It was unclear as to whether we had permission to go through that land at that particular amount of time. So there you go.
Yeah, we've all been in that situation.
Yeah, nobody wants to admit it, but at some stage somebody's crossed a piece of land or a corner of land that they don't rightly know whether or not. But I don't recommend it, nor I don't condone it, and I wouldn't do it again. But that is how the story happened. So
yeah. I've won different, but it's I suppose it's a tragic story. I think when we went out, now we used to go religiously the 1st September every year, and we'd always go to like Loughnane, Dervara. We'd always stay around Mullingar, but at the time we hadn't got a boat, so we'd rent boats. Now it could be 7 or 8 of us would go, but we go obviously in a couple of separate boats. But we were down in Loughnane one year, real hard, which is unusual for September. But there had been a nice bit of a frost the night before, it was fresh, So we were all on the phone. We all met, of course, the night before. So say, the night before, and got all the decoys out and sort of weighed up and sorted everything out, come up with a game plan, met all the lads and says, right, I'll tell you what we'll do, Grant, this, that, and another. I says, right, get rashers and sausages and bread and the whole lot. I have a gas stove and the whole lot. I'll bring the gas stove and you get rashers and this, that, and another, and bread. And I'll get bread and I use this and I get her to bring this and the whole lot. And we'll go over to the island. There's there's a little small island out in the middle of Loughnane. And he says, we'll shoot away for the first couple of hours. We'll head out to the island. We'll have a Jesus of a fry, mug of tea, and we'll head back out and shoot for another couple, make another flight that evening, whatever, Great job, happy days, fucking cut way for this anyway. So that was grand. Out, got with fucking midgets that morning, shot nothing around. It was that many lads out shooting as well. So we were all absolutely starving to hunger. And one of the lads wheeled around in front of us in the boat and says, we head out to the island? Yeah, we'll head out. So headed tore across the lake out to the island. Cut weight. The boys were standing there rubbing their hands together and everything. Oh, boys, absolutely starving. got out there. I got out the rashers and sausages, and one of the boys got out there.
Oh, gas.
no, out with the gas, out with the little fucking the burner for the top of it. Jeez, there was a fucking kettle, lad, and the whole job lot. And next thing, turn around, who was the frying pan, boys?
Oh,
and every lad looked at everyone and says, "Jeez, I said I was bringing the red sauce. I would hear now. I'm out to bring enough of stuff." And next thing, near a frying pan, lad. I swear to Jesus, lad, we ended up getting just pulling lumps of white bread and putting a bit of red sauce on them. I swear to God, rasher sausages, white and black pudding. Eggs, we were scavenging. We says, is there any way at all we could heat it, you know? One of the boys came back with a lump of stone and he says, sure, if we put that in the gas, I says, would you go away, you get no sound brownie? They're not going to cook for 9 lads in a fucking stone.
Oh man, that's like torture because all the stuff is there, you know, apart from just probably the most basic implement of the whole lot.
The whole lot.
We got the food even, you know.
We had salt and pepper, we'd all the butter, we'd a little thing of oil, we'd everything bar the fucking frying pan. Oh, jeez.
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez, those lads going bananas.
Come on, name them. Who was it that forgot the frying pan? Name and shame them, man.
There was no one, because no one had actually put the hand up and says, I'll bring the frying pan. I think we just presumed, well, the lad that's bringing the rashers, he'll bring it, or the lad that's bringing the gas, he'll bring it. So
he'll bring it,
yeah. So it just was one of those things, oh, jeez, man, it was cat. But anyway, good old crack. Fucking good.
We actually shot over, you know this place well, a place called Finney.
Oh, yeah, in Longford.
Yeah.
What's that, Lochgowna, is it?
I think so, Brady.
Mm-hmm.
But years and years and years ago, similar to that. So the first episode, I obviously we sat in the camper van, and anyone who knows my outfit knows that he'd wake the dead with snoring. So I said, no fucking way, I wasn't gonna get caught with the same thing twice. So a lad who used to work with us, Popeye, and Daffy, the same thing, and my young fella again. So we all went down, and I had a caravan at this time, so I brought it down, and right beside the lock there, and you could rent a boat at that time. I think it was a 5 or a 10 or something ridiculously cheap anyway. A little 5 horsepower engine and a small little, I don't know, it was a fucking 12-foot little fucking dingy yoke. But anyway, and so anyway, Daffy pertained that he was next thing to Captain Birdseye. He could navigate the Titanic better than anyway. Look, so out we go, and we decided up early again, and I met Popeye, and he was like Father Ted, smoking fucking cigarettes. He couldn't stick the outfit, snoring. He was up since fucking 2 o'clock. He said, I'd go for a walk and have a fag. And so we met him about 3:30, 4 o'clock, the same thing, into the boat. And Daffy said, I'll drive because I'm the only one here that can drive the boat, you know. So I'm up the front and I'm navigating. So I have a little kind of a torch, and I'm saying go left. So anyone who knows the lake down in Finney there in the village, you could, I think it's a small little estuary onto the lake, and there's reeds left and right, and of course I'd say left, and sure he turned the handle, you know, to the left, and of course where the boat go,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
To the right, yeah.
Next thing, down she bog, you know, and so it was him and my outfit, and next thing, oh fuck, I said left. That's where I went, was left. So then I'd have to make my way down to the boat because he was only a little butty fella, so I had to make my way down to the boat through everyone. Hands down into the fucking cow water, you know, take all the fucking reeds off, back up to the top of the boat, and do navigator again, and no messing, man. You get 10 yards, same fucking crack again. And I was doing it the opposite way this, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
And my outfit was getting kind of thick, and he was saying, "Will you fucking steer?" I am fucking. And the two of them started to argue, and I'm up at the top of the boat trying to. I said, "Look, I'll fucking steer it. There's somebody else navigate. I'll steer it." Yeah. And so we it was nice and slow, but we got out just about out onto the island. The outfit actually shot a couple of duck that morning. I was on the side near a duck, and we had small little pockets of little islands there, as people know, and but like that, back in again, and the big fry up that morning. We had a few pints the night before in one of the pubs there, and all the boys were having a crack and telling stories about years gone by and all that kind of stuff. Brilliant crack. Yeah, a really, really memorable one. And for some of the right reasons. Oh, yeah, that coming back in. This was coming back in. Of course, when you're coming out of the little estuary, right, out onto this huge big lake, and you see, oh yeah, that's where we're going. That's the little island here. These little islands dotted all over, as I said. But then you get to the island, of course, you're there for maybe, you're there for 2 hours, maybe, or maybe more, until the flight is finished, and then you say, right, sure, we'll go back in, and then you look around the loch, but you cannot fucking make out where that little estuary comes out onto that river. You know what I mean? There's reeds the whole way around it.
Everywhere.
So I get into thinking I'm directing at this, or like not directing. I'm on the engine again at this stage, and I start to head, and next thing, and this is where Daffy would be one. One of these lads who would convince you 100% you're going in the complete opposite way, and then you start to doubt yourself, which is maybe.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Not. I've been shooting this, he said, the last 25 years. How long have you been shooting? I said, well, true. Yeah, no, I agree. So where do you think? No, it's there. It's over there. So over we go to this spot, and no sign of the fucking the little river. And now the outfield's belly's hanging out because he gets to breakfast time now, and you know what I mean. He's the hunger pangs gets the best of him, So he was saying he fucking told you it was over that side. Now you look back then and you can't make out which island you're on. So now you've fucking two problems, man. You know what I mean? You're either going towards the van or you're going well away from it.
Yeah.
It took us no messing. It took us as long to get back off that stretch as we were out shooting. I'd say it was almost bearing that down on lunchtime by the time or 12 o'clock by the time we get off the lake, because like that we were coming up. Oh, I think this is it. No, and sure enough, I'd say we more than likely ended up back where we originally were supposed to go, but he was one of them kind of characters, but for the right reasons, like, as well. His heart was in the right place.
Yeah.
It was comical listening to the two boys arguing.
And when the hunger gets to you, that's what does me, man. When the hunger gets to you, I'll put up a cold or anything like that, but by Jez, when I get hungry, that's not, I have to eat.
Well, you wouldn't want to be on the boat with my outfit. As I said, he at one stage the conversation went a little bit like this: if you don't shut up and stop directing us, I'm going to throw you into the lake. So that was kind of it.
Yeah. Oh, it's good old crack. It's fucking good old crack. Yeah. It's good old crack, isn't it? But you remember stuff like that. Lockdown, I was never out in Lockdown. I was out in a good few of them, but I know Lockdown. It's a big old hole of water, as the fella says. But
it is, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I often wonder how many lads kind of stick to lakes, or a lot of lads just kind of tip around and do wetland shooting, or do you know what I mean? Is there a good mix of both? For me, I just love the lake, especially around that time of year, man. It's just like when it's calm, it's absolutely beautiful. I think you'd be hard pressed to find, like in the mornings we went out there where it's flat calm, and you have the big old moon, and I'm telling you, man, I absolutely love it. I think it's one of the nicest places you could ever be.
Absolutely, I fully agree, and I think, again, I was talking to one of the lads during the week, and there's people around, feeding their little wetland lakes with a mixture of molasses and feed and so on. And the ducks, I think, go mad for the molasses, as far as I know.
Yeah,
that's one of the and there's plenty. We were releasing, actually, we released 50 mallard this year, which we bred ourselves. And we won't shoot close to that from around the club. We have a small little man-made lake that we made years back that we've plans to improve on now and drive it forward and get big numbers on it. But this year, we'll take a couple off it, obviously. But the majority of them will be going back on. But like that. I think it was the Shano said that molasses is it's like cocaine for ducks, It seems to go fucking mad.
Yeah, honestly, and the smell of it, be the Lord, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
we had some one year. We mixed it with a few bit of barley and stuff. Be the Lord, jeez, man. If you let that stuff ferment at all, be the holy jess, man. It's a smell I've never witnessed that like it in all my life. It'd absolutely blow the head off you. But
it's good. Like they're the memories, Bernie, isn't it? Like that's
exactly.
I'm glossing over probably. Now, as I said, my duck shooting wasn't extensive, but I've shot a good share of ducks in my time. But the memorable ones are the ones, the kind of fuck ups, the bleepers, or the bits that be cut out of a TV show. It's them bits that stick out in my mind, and the crack and the fry that morning. I remember we cooked up the big fucking. I had a big, I had a gas port inside of the caravan, and had a kind of a little gas. Three-legged stove, and like that there was guys pitched up in tents beside us, and they were coming out when they smelt the sausages, and and there was lads in boats that you'd pay 40 grand for, probably, camoed out, and nets and so on, and we threw them a few sausages and a mug of tea, and just it's a community kind of, or that kind of a feeling. And I just think you can't beat it, you can't beat it.
I do often wonder, like the 1st September now, we haven't shot, well, obviously I was in Australia for a good few years, but I wouldn't have shot the 1st September in the lake now in a good few years, but like, I wonder, do they still get the massive numbers, like especially if the first falls in a weekend, like if it's a Saturday morning, or maybe sometimes a lot of lads take a Friday off, be the largest, man. I remember going out to Loch Endell, and we were on it around, I'd say we were probably on the lake for 4 o'clock-ish in the morning. Little 5 horsepower engine, so we were around 4 lads on the boat, and a lot of gear, so we weren't breaking any speed limit. So we were just kind of heading out across to the lake to an area we thought might be promising. We headed off into it, man. We're just making our way. Next thing, boom, a little flashlight comes on from this area. I was like, oh shit, there's someone in there. Lad, there was everywhere we put, says, oh, we'll try that across there. Next thing, another light would flash back.
Lights, yeah. Fuck
there
off
was lads everywhere. It was unbelievable. Yeah. So we used to go down then to Deravara, and we used to kind of, for a lot of years, we used to go into one particular side of it, and we'd wade in. We wouldn't go out in a boat at all. We'd go into where it was marshy, and we'd go up, and we'd go in and top of cold, standing in those fucking frigid waters, man, and water just up to your underneath your nipples, like. I am telling you, stand there for ducks coming in by EJs, man, was it called?
Yeah.
But
well,
great.
Great
crack, and there's nothing more like, do you know the way, when you're like, say, when you're playing a football match or something, you're waiting for the fucking refs to trim the ball or whatever, and you're kind of, psyched up when the game is on. It's like that when you're out on the lake on the opening day, and the light is slowly starting to fade, and when you hear that first shot, man, your heart, like, it could be from the far end of the lake, but when you hear that first shot, you go, right, they're on the move. Lights breaking. Yeah. Here we go. Keep an eye out. You know what I mean? Oh, it's brilliant. It's very, very good. Yeah. It's a great sensation.
I like what you said, similar down in Cavan, like, it was like, you'd see, because the boat would be coming up, and next thing a lad would be over on the bank, and he'd just give a little glimmer of a light to say, here, fuck off, down a little bit there, I'm here.
Yeah.
You could hear the little engine, revving up slightly, and then down again, and next thing, another little light come on, next thing, up he go, it'd be like fucking musical chairs, here, fuck off, go on, it's my spot,
Yeah, exactly. yeah.
And you think, even at that, like, I was looking at this, because you could see it like happening over, and you say, there's 8 or 9 lads out there, Well, Mother Jays, man, first let it break, and the next thing, as you said, it'll start up the river, or the entry to the lake, or whatever you want to call it. But the next thing, it'd be like boom, 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 and it was like fucking Halloween, man. It was like fucking. Do you know what I mean?
Crazy.
It was crazy, man. Like, it's undescribable how many people used to do it. So it'd be interesting to see, do people still go out in the droves and the numbers? I think they would. The duck numbers mightn't be there to match it anymore, I don't think, for various reasons. But look, I think we're as gun clubs and so on, I think we're doing our bit. I think there's definitely more matter being produced than has been shot. But whether that's making it's similar to the story what we're saying about the fish. I think there's other things at play, like the hunting community is not to blame for the decline in the birds. Ironically, Jesus, ironically, it's the non-hunting. I that's my non-scientific what would you say, estimation, but I'm sure there's people will say no, that's not correct. But
but then I don't know. Like, they say that numbers are declining. I don't know. I really don't know if they are declining or not. Like, you see, I don't notice it, to be honest with you. Being out on some of the lakes and stuff, I think weather plays. You could go out today and you might be not, and you go out in a week's time, there could be loads in it. You know, like some of these areas of waters that we're hunting, 1,000 ducks together, you wouldn't even see them out. Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree. Yeah, and then look, I think like some of the older folk. I remember I was talking to some of the older statesmen in my club, and they were saying, "Oh, we often went out and shot, 20, 30, 40, 50 duck in a day." There's not. I'm not hearing them kind of numbers too much anymore.
No,
and probably ideally that's not what we really want either. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think
what I mean?
it's a bit. It really annoys the fuck out of me, and like everyone, each to their own. Like, but when lads are going out there and shooting 50 duck on their own in a day, I don't give a fuck. There's no way you're using all them. Not what are you going to do? Take a fucking week off work and pluck them all and prepare them? Not a hope you're using them. Half of them are getting fucked out, or they're getting thrown to dogs, or whatever the fuck the case may be. So like, it's the lads that are going out there and shooting 50 duck every fucking Saturday, man, are the very lads that'll be whinging, moaning and complaining if they do decide to cut back on the numbers. Go out and get the couple of duck that you need and leave it the fuck at that. Like, I can never fucking understand that. Like,
I'm not messing, Brady. If I went out and shot 2 or 3 duck, I would be ecstatic and I'd come home with that.
Delighted, man. 100%. I'd be
anywhere up to 10, I can kind of understand, because you might be good now for another couple of weeks, and you say to yourself, right, there's 2 duck a week for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. But there's lads go out. To go out and get 50 on a Saturday and go out and get 40 on a Sunday, like that's ridiculous. Like this, I just, it does annoy me because that's pure fucking greed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are they trying to show off? Like how good of a shot they are? Like go and buy a fucking 100 clays and see how many of them you break. That'll prove you're a good shot as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can, and look at there's people who are fanatical about that very sport and the different breeds and so on, and not I suppose we're not trying to take away from that, but however, just the times I suppose that we're in, we have to be conscious. There's both the visual or the optics part of it, where we're trying to portray that that we're an ethical sport, that we're putting back more than we're and the vast majority of hunters in the country, like the gun clubs around the country, are releasing more mallard, well in excess of their members shooting. But then you have people who are probably breeding nothing, releasing nothing, and shooting the most, and that's probably where it's similar to the pheasant situation. Like we've lads shooting all the way around the periphery of our gun club who are not members of gun clubs, who contribute nothing.
You there, Anthony? And you there? Can you hear me there, lad? And he's gone. We need to get him back we definitely need to get Anthony back into the into the studio here. These technical difficulties are becoming a right pain in the backside. But we might have to wrap it up there, and we'll just see if we can get Anthony back online here and see what's happening. You're back. You're back, lad.
We had a couple of I don't know actually what happened there, because it was showing up full internet, and it's it just went completely fucking dead. You started to actually go. I think you heard it on my end as well, a little bit to start it. But anyway, we're back. We're back.
We're back. Better than ever.
Small. This ad break has been brought to you by Kit Kat.
Yeah, honest to fuck. Yeah, we'll have him back in studio next week. Next week going forward,
exactly.
we'll be back. We'll be back in studio, and we'll be flying it. But we're just saying there, like, I don't know, talking about the numbers declining and stuff like that. I don't know. I haven't seen. Now I'm not out shooting every weekend. There's no point in saying any different out duck shooting. But from what I've seen, I don't see a massive difference over the years. Now I know there's loads of people who jump on and go, "Are you fucking mad?" But I personally myself, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a massive decline in numbers.
Yeah, well, look, I suppose it's, as you said, it's each to their own, and as the people will probably notice contrary to that. So look, it's probably an evolving situation. I think we just all need to be mindful of the optics as well. 50, 60, 70 duck. It's not a case where these are vermin species. That'd be my opinion on it. They are primarily a game bird, which the benefit of having eating off the back of them, and I for one I've duck in my fridge or freezer from last year. That I do duck pancakes and so on and so forth, and all kinds of duck dishes, and that's what my meat is used for, primarily, apart from the vermin, obviously. But yeah, look, who are we to judge? We're not here to judge, man. We're just here to give our opinion. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, exactly. Fucking right, man, without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, sure, look at anyone that's fucking heading out, send us in your pictures. I know, well, I like, as I said, deer hunting has taken over probably that in a way from me. Do you know, September me, it's all about the deer. I cannot wait to get out. But before that, would have had the exact same passion as regards for the duck hunting. I would have always said I would have preferred duck hunting over pheasant shooting. But I know there's an awful lot of people out there are just stomping at the bit. They cannot wait to get out on the water and get out after a couple of duck. And
absolutely, and look, we can fully understand your excitement. And the very best luck, and stay safe, everyone. That's the main thing. Get home safe.
Yes.
Have some of these kind of stories and memories and all to tell.
And wear a fucking life jacket. Don't try to be the big man. Wear a fucking life jacket. They're there. Put them on you. I'm just on line here. We're going to talk a little bit about this. The map, the National Parks and Wildlife map. It's done it's done like the old OSI maps here. It's just basically every pocket of water in Ireland. Basically, from what I can see, all the big lakes are on it. There's a lot of other like kind of areas of water that's pinpointed around the place. Smaller inlets of water. I suppose. Where there's bands and stuff. I there's some of it's in blue and some of it's in red. I can't just get it up on my phone at the minute here to see exactly what's what. But look, it's there. Go on, have a look at it. It'll explain more detail
up as well on the page as well. Just
yeah, exactly. Familiarize yourself with it and go out and get your steel shot. Make sure your gun can take steel shot. That's the other thing,
Yeah, that'd be probably the two things that we can, as from our perspective, as a perspective, from a podcast perspective, is obviously first and foremost ensure your barrels are able for steel shot. That's the first thing, and especially if you're shooting with chokes, just be very, very careful with all that. Make sure you have everything in order and you know what you're doing. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if that's in order, well, and you're shooting anywhere that resembles or can be resembled as a marshland or water or a wetland, just go steel shot and just don't give them the feckin' excuse to try and, because I have a funny feeling they're going to try and make an example of somebody this year,
Yes.
And that's what we don't want in this sport, is just, somebody being made an example of. For we all know, like there's actually just there's data and stories coming back from across the water and in the UK and so on, where steel shot now is not deemed to be the messiah that they thought it was, and it's creating its own fair share of problems. So I think this is going to be an evolving situation, but look, stay on the right side of it for the time being. Or for the foreseeable, rather, until such time as they recommend something different. But we definitely need the powers to be a bit more forceful. Like I understand the NIRGC, and I've seen the letters that were written to the MPWS, requesting this information from weeks and weeks and weeks ago, because we're a week away from shooting season, and here we are now, and this was released essentially this week. So lads have to go out and get gear. They know whether they have to buy lead or steel, or then there's things where like that, they have to check barrels, and maybe this is things like some lads won't be able to do that themselves. They won't know what to look for, and they'll have to be going into the gun shops and gunsmiths and saying, "Here, is that gun suitable?" And them chokes, you know what I mean? And they'll need a bit of advice. And some people won't be very forthcoming in going into them kind of establishments, and for fear of being, maybe they don't know what I'm thinking, and they could be shooting all their fucking lives,
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
I would suggest if anybody is, especially around our own area, we've loads of gun shops and so on. You've Make Across the Way there in Central Gold. You've the boys down in Wild Hunter, Boating at Lone in Galway. You've Tommy Kelly. You've Small Arms Service. You've loads and loads of these. You've the boys in Lakelands and Kildare as well, and like that. Go into your local gun shop, put the gun and say, look, is that suitable for the steel shot? And ask the fucking question, rather destroying a gun or destroying yourself.
Yeah, and it's interesting that now I done a lot of reading and looking into this here last year when this like this the ban on lead shot, it's a ban on lead shot within 100 meters of what they deem as wetlands, and this map will familiarize yourself with what they deem as wetlands. Um, it was kind of, I think it came in 2001, but it was a transition period for it. So basically, they were saying like this is what we're talking about doing. There was a transition period. Transition period ended on the 15th of February, like 2023. This year. So a lot of lads probably didn't realize they could have been still shooting for the last couple of weeks or whatever. Do you know what I mean? With the lead shot, but ban was already in.
Yeah, not realizing that they were. Yeah,
exactly. Not realizing that they were. So just on the steel now. There's a lot of lads, but from the way I understand it is, if your gun is proofed for steel shot, it has a thing on it called a little symbol on it called the fleur de lis.
Yeah.
People can read up on that and you'll see it. It'll show you what it is. But then someone said to me, but that won't be on American made guns. That's a real European thing. So like my gun, for instance, doesn't have it. And I think if you look up from what my interpretation of it and what I read at the time, Mossberg haven't either really confirmed or denied, or I don't know if there's an official, you can shoot steel shot with it. I don't know. Maybe there has been since, but look, as you said, rightly said, better safe than sorry. You'll be going in to get a few catches, bring the gun in with you and say, here, come here, what can you tell me? Have I read the right chokes? If you need to get chokes, get a set of chokes. And I've been shooting with steel shot for a while. I've heard loads and loads of lads have asked the question, is it true that it doesn't have nearly the same power and you need to be a lot closer? I can only tell you about in my circumstances, no, I haven't seen that at all. I don't see really negatives, apart from maybe that they mightn't be as readily available. But taking down power and distance and all that, I don't notice any difference in it. That's just me. Okay. Lads will say, oh, Jesus, I fired a one, and fair enough. I'm not disputing that. The way I've seen it, I've shot duck and pheasant all last year, no difference using steel shot. And I didn't, I had no issue. I wasn't, taking a shot and going, Jesus Christ, what was the story there? I either fucking missed it or if I connected with them, they were down. So I don't see a massive.
It's probably similar to yours, right? I don't see a massive. I would see a slight, it's slightly different in my opinion. But and some of the people I've been talking, it's just slightly like. Not to the situation where obviously it's great to have something to blame when you miss and so on. So, but and there'd be to be a little bit of that at play. But it's probably just getting used to it. It's probably just slightly different leads. Maybe is required. A little bit of. Again, I would suggest again get a couple of like we're after reaming out a couple of different competitions around the country there the last couple of weeks, clay shoots and so on. Get down to your local clay shoot, throw a box of steel in it. Have a few pops to a few clays, and then you'll be able to say, well, look at, there's a difference, but I know how to deal with that difference, or no, there's no difference at all. Make up your own mind, because, like I could go out today and I could shoot horrendously fucking bad. And if I have a box of steel shot in me, more than likely, man, I am going to blame that steel shot. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's, we've all had them days where you couldn't hit fucking snow off a rope and you go out the next day and you couldn't miss. So, put a box in the through the gun, throw a few clays out, get your eye in, and then make up your own decision, But don't go out on the 1st of September, the first time you're shooting steel shot, and then you're just leaving things. That'll be we're going to talk about now that like I find whenever I change anything in any of my setups, and be it a shotgun or the rifle and stuff like that, for some unknown reason, if I'm not 100% comfortable with me setup, or if it's new ammo, or if it's, do you know what I mean? Invariably, you're not just quite on it. Now, that's from my experience. I know. So my thing would be to, if you're shooting with a rifle, get out and shoot targets, obviously, before you start shooting live game or vermin. And if you're shooting with shotgun, go out and shoot a few clays and just put a few, like, spend fucking a $5 or a $10 and put a few rounds through it and make up your own decision from there,
Yeah.
Because we're going to have to live with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going anywhere. It is not going anywhere. So it's as the fella says, we just may bite the bullet and get on with it, as the fella says. Do you know what I mean?
Unfortunately so, Bernie. That is the
way it goes. Now,
come here. Yeah, were you out for during the week, were you? No?
Yeah, I was out twice there just for just went out for about an hour. But I look again, outrageous going for a week at work this week. So like I was,
You getting out tonight though, you fecker, yeah.
I know, I still getting out, but I just like said to myself one like last week, I went out, I didn't go out till probably 10:00, and I knew I had to be up out of the bed at 4, to be on the road to drive fucking 3 hours to bloody Castle Island and Kerry. So I was kind of down the field. I was just like, what are you doing? Do you know?
Living the dream, baby.
Well, yeah, I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? So no, I was out for an hour most. I am going. When we get this wrapped up, I have all the gear ready to go, and I'm going to go and spend a couple of hours tonight. I have a new spot that I haven't shot in I'd say probably the best part of 10 years. So I'm heading out to that tonight. It has all the signs of a good spot. So yeah, heading out tonight, and cannot fucking wait, man. So we're looking forward to it.
Well, that'll bring us into our story. We'll tie the two in together on our Let's Talk Gear section. So if you want to lead it in there,
Andy Grogan, you know what time it is, do you?
Let's do it.
And now it's time for a little thing we like to call Let's Talk Gear. Now, lad, it's all over to you. I'm actually genuinely I look forward to all our podcasts, but I'm really looking forward to this Let's Talk Gear one because I've seen these on numerous times and I have meant to order them and I still haven't, which is a joke. But talk to me. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, we're talking about the dog down custom calls, and this is look, I entered a competition for charity back, I think somewhere around February, March. Joe Jordan, Dog Down Custom Calls. You see him on Facebook, Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
He runs different charity raffles and stuff. Anyway, I actually won the competition. I like that. I had only been admiring them previously a couple of weeks. I only kind of found out about them in around that time, and Jesus, I started to look up a few of the videos and success people had across in the UK and so on. And I'm going to just hopefully just show you here now. You'll be able to see me, but my set is these little tree here. Right?
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So I think I've shown you these anyway, but just so for reference, three different colors in it, and like that, each one has their kind of their own unique little sound. So Joe started making these just out the back, turn them out of the back of his workshop for himself. He makes them using resins, polyester blanks, and hardwoods. And I'll talk about some of the woods that he makes them out of in a minute. But there's a little kind of rubberized hand grip on some of them, and some of them you can actually use with your mouth call and so on. But basically, this is one of them enterprises where kind of small beginnings, and it's gone from strength to strength. People just start to see him using them and hear about them, and you make me a set of them, and kind of he started to give away a few sets, and then people start, geez, I'd buy a set off them, and obviously this sort of stuff costs money to put together, and so he started to sell a few, and he makes them out of kind of all different types of woods, primarily hardwoods, just for the wearability and so on. But each kind of wood has a kind of their own obviously unique sound and so on and so forth, slightly different to the other. So you've things like exotic kind of woods like Indian ebony, olive wood, mopane, African blackwood, and sometimes like beechwood and so on.
Yeah.
But his most popular call is this one here, which I kind of put up in the video for you, and I'll show people that they'll know. It's the bigger one. It's the kind of the Fox Shaker.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually just shake that, and so you don't need to actually
blow on it, right?
You can press. You press on it or shake it, and then there's, as I said, there's three in the set. There's a coaxer and a squeaker. So you have a little, and then you have this one where it's
okay, so yeah.
They're kind of unique kind of calls, and look, they're a lovely set. I think especially for fox calling, obviously with the hand, which we all know, and the little whistle and so on, all very good. But I think we've all been out where you've been calling with your hand, or people I know with a little bit of polystyrene and the glass and so on, and you know what I mean, and then all different kinds of callers and so on. Sometimes the fox just doesn't have the interest. Maybe you've heard it before, a couple of times, or you know what I mean, and they've no interest in it. I just found I went out kind of Monday night after zeroing the rifle, and went out for a walk and a browse with the thermal, and just had a quick look around. And it was late in the day, but I went out and I spotted kind of somewhere between, I think I told you, 12 to 15 foxes.
Yes,
and I wasn't happy with my setup in terms of, we just put the different rounds through the chrono, but with the muzzle brake and the suppressor, just for, obviously we're going over shooting abroad, so I wanted to get the velocities of both, just for the ballistics and so on, and that was the primary objective. But then when we had the target up, and because it was the easier of the two, we popped on the pulsar and we zeroed it at 50 and 100, and we got that done in less than 25 minutes, whatever it was. But like that, I rushed home, rushed on the IR, and kind of had all the setup, just kind of roughly, you know what I mean. It wasn't like what I said earlier. It wasn't the rail for the IR wasn't far enough forward. The IR was too high and too much to the side, and then I didn't have the pulsar settings, the brightness and the contrast and all that kind of stuff, just like what I wanted. So it was all grainy and kind of not right, and the light was kind of blurring and bouncing off my suppressor. And then my sticks kind of, I inadvertently loosened one of the legs of my sticks and couldn't understand why it wouldn't go down. And I was trying to balance it off, one leg splayed out. And so, but yeah, 12 to 15 foxes, and couldn't get like a comfortable shot at any one of them, miss one or two. And they were out in their twos and threes, Bernie. I've never, ever, ever seen it. And that is, my lane, and that is between my lane and not even going down as far as the farmyard. Do you know what I mean?
That's unreal. The Lord Jesus Christ, man, that is unbelievable. Were they after spreading like manure or anything like that down there?
There was a couple of bales of silage after being cut off some of the fields.
Right.
All I can think of is, when the bales are moved, you have kind of slugs and worms and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So maybe there was some of them sitting there for a while, and especially with the wet weather and so on. So maybe that was, but I'm not messing, man. There was, but I stayed out till I tried to stalk in on. There was a group of three, and like that, I tried to stalk in on them, and no matter which way I came in from the man, they were moving. They were not from me essentially, but every time I said I'll try and make my way into that field. By the time I got myself back over into the field and back around, they were off down the far corner. Then I had to get into that field and try and go again and sneak around them, keeping the wind. The wind was, I think you were out Monday night as well. The wind was weird, man. It was like I went out and said, "Oh, geez, there's no wind out there." And when I went down the field, man, it was a lovely, like a good, not a strong wind, but a strong breeze anyway, and enough to carry too much of my second scent for a lot of them. But it was one of them nights. Yeah, still out till 2:30, and I loved everything about the night, apart from the big amateur mistake. So, which I made. Cheek piece up, forgot the little rubberized eyepiece for my pulsar, and I normally go to where I can feel that just the rubberized piece just clipping the outside of my glasses, and of course it wasn't on at this stage, and that's more, and of course it took a nice little tint in my forehead. So.
I don't know if it. Giannis was telling me a story during the week that he probably won't want me telling the story, but I don't give a fuck, I'm telling it anyway. He was out hunting over in Hungary when he was getting married the night before it was for his stag, like, but I think it was the night before he was due to get married, and they went out, and whatever got into his head, he was panicking. I think they were hunting wild boar, and whatever, same story as you, whatever got into his head, he got on a 30-06 now, and I right up to the scope and bang, and woke up the next morning with a merciful black eye on the day of his wedding.
Oh,
So
lovely.
I think he said it took longer to get him ready and try and hide that than it got his beautiful wife. Yeah, so,
very good. Very
so
well. That's a true hunting story, isn't it?
Exactly, man. You're not the only one that's made that mistake. Don't worry about
But
that.
and not only did I make it once, Brendan, and I have to look at this as the podcast where all things come bare.
Disclaimer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I met it at least 3 times the same night because, like that, the excitement of the new rifle and fucking, you know what I mean? And and Fox is coming at me from all angles, and I'm trying to get it in. And with that, I did. I think 3 times. So,
so there's a question for you now. Actually, when you because that you wear glasses, do you get a glare back off the scope? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like looking through a normal scope. You're essentially looking at a screen that's emitting light from it. So is that why you have to go so close to? Do you know what I mean? If you were away from it, would you see?
I would find that, like, I require a little, like, say when we were zeroing the rifle, like, say a couple of lads just look through my rifle and cheek down and they're straight on. I can never really get, because like my glasses are always either sitting slightly different. So do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'll always have to slightly adjust my eye just to ensure that I'm looking through the center of my glass, obviously down the center of the scope. So, or else I get that kind of, that little bit of a circular, like them, when you get kind of drunk at the end of the night and you're kind of looking up the disco ball and you see them little circly things. It's like them little things in the middle of my eye. So, it tends to be a little bit. It's a pain in the ass at times, especially if it's misty weather. I fucking hate misty rain, only for that reason,
Mm-hmm.
And like that. Look, I didn't even, just left a little bit of a bruise and a small bit of a mark, but I'm glad I did it with that and not with the Vortex, because the Vortex is a nicer rim on it, which will surely make a little bit more damage.
Do a job on you. Yeah.
So jeez. That's one of the things, and went out then the following night, and like that, I just had these on me, and I said I'd see before I even went shooting. Disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
Would a fox come in? And because I was having no luck with them coming into me the night before, I had no calls with me, just a hand, and they were not fucking interested. And I went down to actually, before that, just a small other funny story as to how everything fucked up, and I won't delay. But I was calling on my hand on the first night, the Monday night, and I was looking out over the field, right at the end of my lane. That gate as you jump into the last field where I think you shot a fox there one night.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see this fox out in the next field, and I was trying to call him in, and he was kind of going up along the head. Next thing I said, he turned back on himself, and I thought he was going to come up the kind of drain that's right in front of the gate, like 100 yards away maybe. And I said, here we go. And I was waiting. And next thing I seen him kind of sneaking on down onto the next field. So feck it anyway. And with that, I just turned around with the thermal and looked out into the field that's kind of behind me. And I'm not messing, man. Here's a fox 20 yards away.
No way.
20 fucking yards away. So it's pitch dark. And he's sitting like a dog sitting up, like, with 2 ears looking, what is this fella calling? On with the fucking the rifle, on with the night vision, on with the fucking IR. No IR.
Don't fucking believe.
Yeah, and I could just about make him out with night vision, but it was like there wasn't much ambient light, as to say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, talking about my setup, I didn't have the sunlight function turned on the scope, so even that was, it would have been in my favor had I had it on. And so anyway, he scampered and got away. But the next night, down the bottom of my lane, turned right, and so to the very end field, went down to the gate, and I just started to. And with that, man,
mm-hmm.
the lad started to horse in, absolutely horse in. So they do work. And shortly thereafter, went back to Jeep, got the gun, and I went back out hunting again, and I took my first fox with the Bergara. So
happy days. Yeah, seen that, man. Well done. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Nice to get off the mark with it.
It is. It's nice. It's nice. Nice smooth round, Brenny, I have to say. 6.5 Creedmoor. Rob was even saying he likes the round, lovely smooth round. Yeah, really nice, and I think there's a few people more than interested in how we get on with the Creedmoor. I think, obviously it gets its kind of, for whatever fucking reason, I don't know.
I was actually talking to a fellow during the week about this, and I was kind of saying, like, what is the story with this whole stigma? Like, what is the idea of the stigma? He says, well, to be honest with you, Irish lads, a lot of, like, say it carries on into Ireland, like, people think, 6.5, but it shouldn't, if that makes sense. Where it came from was because it's such a recent round, but it's deemed as a sort of probably a lot lower powered round in the States in comparison to what we would usually use here. Like a 6.5 Creedmoor here is probably as big. Like, so obviously there is lads using, 270s and a handful of lads using 30-06s and stuff like that. But the majority of lads would be 243s, and do you know what I mean? A lot of lads would be using the likes of 243s here, which obviously the 6.5 is a lot more stopping power than that. But in America, most lads are using, like, lads using 338 Win Mags, and a lot of 270s, 30-06s, 300 Winchester. Do you know what I mean? So they are using a lot bigger, more powerful rounds. When the 6.5 came in, it was like the smaller round. So lads, that's where it got its reputation. Lads were kind of taking the piss out of, like, what's this little fucking harmless round. And you see, I think you shared one during the week, even, like, the pictures, the memes of it not even penetrating the skin. That is where it came from. The Americans deem it as a very small round, but in actual fact, in Ireland and Europe, it would be, it's actually quite large in comparison to what traditionally a lot of lads would be using. So anyway, there's a little back.
Yeah, and look at that. That's understandable, considering some of them are shooting huge ammunition over there. But like we put it through the chrono, like, and like the 90 grains, which obviously be moving a little bit faster than the 143 grain, whatever. Like, they were pushing over 3,000 feet per second. Like, so they're a quick round. They have huge stopping power, as I sent you the picture of the Fox. That was 107 yards. And I know it's a Fox, but I mean, man, not you've seen it, not a fucking kick out of it. And that's only a 90 grain. The 143 grain are pushing somewhere 2.6, 2.7, 2.8 in around that. So like they're a nice, fast, smooth round. So
fast, flat, plenty of stopping power.
They're doing everything, we'll see.
There's a good few options. I'd say as the years progress, you'll get more and more options for ammunition. Like, obviously they wouldn't be at in comparison to a 308, but there is some options out there, I suppose. Rounds are expensive. Like, to be honest, in comparison to, probably 308s and stuff like that, they are expensive. But sure, look, they do exactly what they say on the tin,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I suppose, look at getting back to the caller. If anybody, like, check them out. We're just here to give a kind of a, and especially with our friends up the north and in the UK. Now it's our take over here that mouth collars, non-electronic collars are legal here in terms of vermin shooting, like fox shooting. Obviously, no deer collars are permitted. But if people are in for, are in the market for a good kind of like a custom call, something slightly different, that, especially if you have a land that's well hunted and so on, these might be the collars for you just to have in your arsenal. It's like, I don't think that one call kind of fits all, you know what I'm saying? But this is one that I think if it's a very, very handy and effective. As I said, I've been out with a couple of times. I mean, you spoke about it before. They're definitely interested in the sound. It's a sound that they're not, very well accustomed to, and it gives off that kind of. And look, Joe has posted them all around the world. It's a handmade product. It's kind of one of them kind of the small industries that we like to support here in the podcast. He's posted them all around the world, over to the USA, worldwide, and they're all getting the same, same results. So the results speak for themselves. I can't, and like for instance, the Fox Shakers is £32, so it's not overly expensive. The Squeaker's 22. the mini Cokes are 25, right the way down to 22 quid for if you're over in the UK, your one jacket roll bleeper, and like that for 22 quid. I don't think you get much of a collar for that type of money. I know people have been experienced a little bit delays in getting the postage over here. That has been, and I experienced that myself. But I just ask people as well, just to bear in mind, it's not the supplier. Like Joe is sending them over. I know he is, because he sent me the delivery slip and so on. It's the customs and the Brexit thing that's holding it up. Hopefully that's iron out. So look at it. If you're not in a panic for them, I'd order them, but just don't be jumping down his neck. They are being sent. He's not a rip-off merchant. Anyone that I've talked to who's ordered them has got them. They haven't been as quickly as both him and the client have wanted, but nonetheless they get there. And obviously, if you're in the UK, it's a little bit quicker. So. I think they're a brilliant call, Bernie. I think they're very, very interesting, and they're a really cool call to have. You know what I mean? You kind of like them shiny type things. So
something a bit different. Yeah, exactly.
Interesting thing.
Mark, so a 10.
Look, man, I can't not fault them. I think anything I've squeaked has either sparked interest or brought them in. So I'm going to give it a good 8.75 out of 10 and 9 out of 10. I don't think you're going to get perfect collar for the various reasons that I've outlined. You know what I mean? There's going to be some foxes that won't be interested in this call, that you might have to try another collar, mix up, and so on and so forth. That's just the nature of the game. This is just, I think, it's like it's something to have in the bag. That, you know what I mean, that you can try these ones if something's not, you can move on to your mouth collar or your whistle or whatever. And but I think it's if you're doing a lot of fox shooting, I definitely would recommend these. I definitely would recommend them, you know?
Yeah. But
fair enough.
It is. That's a good one. It sounds good to me, man. You have me convinced, Anya. I need to put in an order to them. Yeah, get on them. They have their Facebook page there, Fox Down Custom Calls, I think. Or, sorry, Dog Down Custom Calls on Facebook. You'll see some of the reviews. You'll see, like, if you go onto a lot of the hunting pages, as outside of that, the UK fox hunting pages, you'll see an awful lot of lads using them and some of the success that they're doing. So continued growth and success to all at Dog Down Custom Calls. You're doing whatever you're doing. Stuff. Keep it going. You know what I mean? Come here, quick one. Any plans? Are you heading out over the weekend, Ryan?
No, I'm actually stripping down Galway. We're taking down the office and equipment and so on and so forth. So all the kids are back to school and so on from next Monday. So we're this is our last kind of weekend. So hopefully get a bit of grub and maybe a bit of wine, and I'm going to chill out. I did a couple of nights hunting this week, which will satisfy me, and I've a big week next week with zero in the scope and trying to get out hunting, obviously, and then we have to finish off our room and get everything kind of ready for the loads of deer we're going to be butchering, Brendan.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I fucking hope so. Here is hoping.
Yeah, we will, of course.
yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, happy days. Yeah, fucking sure.
Yourself?
How would you look? What am I doing?
Tonight, you fucker. Yeah,
I'm heading out tonight. Yeah, I am heading out here the minute we get this finished. I'll probably put the podcast up tonight. If I don't, I'll do it early in the morning. Heading out tonight for a shot. I want to just get off the mark with the new Howa. Now I am using traditional, like the scope. I don't have my night vision out. I'm not going to start doing that. I just don't want to. I just want to just grab my fucking gun and go. Have my 1.7 for the fox, but I just want to get it on. I'm going to put a red light on it tonight. Get down and get me first kill. I had it set at 200. Dom kind of had it set for me. I actually went down tonight and I set it at 100. I just prefer it at 100. I don't ask me why. I just like knowing that's at 100, and then I know how to counteract that. So that's tonight's course work tomorrow, and Saturday we're getting our pheasants, and then I might get out for dinner. I think it's my birthday actually on Saturday. So
what age are you, Bernie?
35, man. I'll be 35. Yeah. And
man.
Yes, the big 3 fucking 5, man. Yeah. So might get out for dinner and a few beers, maybe, with the help of God.
Absolutely. Look, we'll be back in action next week. We'll be getting a few beers next weekend, one way or the other.
We'll
be celebrating. whether we hit or not, we'll be celebrating one way or we'll most definitely having a jar and a bit of a chit chat,
Exactly. And next Thursday we will be doing our deer stalk and deer hunting special. That's going to be our next podcast. It's all about deer stalking. It's going to be a bit of a special.
Jeez, I can't wait, Brennan. I can't wait.
It'll get the butterflies going in your stomach with the help of God, and that's what it's all about. Bring
it on, buddy. Listen, you let me know now. I don't care. 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Keep the pictures and the updates coming. I want to know. I want to see the how off the mark. I want to see off the mark with that going, and I want plenty of updates.
I will do 100%, man. Without a shadow of a doubt.
The very best of luck to you, brother.
Sounds like a plan, man. Have a good night, and all listeners, thanks for listening. Get in touch if you have any questions on our last podcast or this podcast or anything in particular you need a bit of assistance on. Despite now we don't do marriage counselling or any shit like that. No. Get in contact. Give us a shout. We're a friendly bunch.
And stay hunting.
Stay hunting. Keep it country. Talk to you later on, man.
See you there.
Take it easy. Bye bye.
Yeah, look.
Bye bye.